Hey John, how's it going? You got all of your Easter bunny. Oh, okie doke. Well, let's see. Uh Everyone say hello. Hello. Can you hear me okay? Hi Glenn. Happy Easter to you too. I got a Easter eggs. Oh boy. Okie doke. Let me talk a little about what I want to sort of look at today. Um the a lot of, we've been talking about this project and we've been talking about the cases and movements and dials and so on and so forth. Hi, Joas. Um, and the, I guess, just sort of bringing it all together and, what a sort of for like a pilot project almost for making trying to put together a watch that has a good movement in it and that isn't going to cost too much. Hi Abdul, how you doing? And so anyway, uh a lot of people say, well, when are we going to start it? Hold on. It's a kind of thing that was more to look at, something that we could talk about. And that, hi GMT master. And the idea was to try to get a realistic view of what it costs to make a really good watch. I mean, something, and basically really good. We're really talking about two main components. One component is, well, maybe three components. One component is the movement. And for that, we talked about a Vaucher movement. And even on a minimal level, Vaucher wants, they only sell them in lots of 25. Then we took a look at the Wooten, Lonen, and Kalen. And hey, Bruce. And they're also of a really good case making company. So here we have a really good case, and we've got a really good um, movement. Okay, so really, I guess the last thing would be the dial, and you might add the straps, and you might add the hands too. But the dial, we talked about having an enamel dial, uh, and we looked at one design that I tried to put together, but I'm no designer, so take that as it is. Hi, Dominic Jr. How's everybody? Good morning and happy Easter and happy Passover and happy whatever you are. All right. We, I guess the Easter bunny is really sort of pagan, so there you go. All right. So anyway, so that's what I wanted to talk about. Um, Hey, John and Junior. What I really wanted to talk about was, well, high underachiever. This is something that um, I don't want to do because after figuring out all the costs for 25 of these, plus this, plus that, and so forth, they're talking about $50,000. And investing $50,000 in a watch company, it's not something I would do because probably watch companies are can get really expensive. It would be a lot of fun, I grant you that. And also, too, I wouldn't want to be responsible for anybody else's money. So that's another thing. All right. But what I was thinking about is that by looking at this entire process, we could make better judgments about the watches that we get and possible ways if someone wanted to start their own watch company. But a lot of people, they were saying, "Oh boy, when can I get one?" Well, this is that's a whole other story. And so there are a lot of people who go out and they start up they I don't know how you fund those things. They have a sort of an online way of funding it. Hi, Blaine. Um, and Orange Han, how you doing? The so what we're really talking about is more a how to understand what's going on in watches. Now, if somebody goes into making watches and they just want to make money from it, then what you do, you put in a cheap movement, you get a lot of other things, and you spend all your money on hyperbole, on advertising and marketing. Uh, and those things are expensive. Now, so since we don't have to spend any money, but at the same time, we can say, look, this is how we can put together a really good watch without too much money. Then we know what's possible. Not perhaps for any of us, but as something that can be done and something that will help us understand some of the expenses and so forth that go into a watch. So let's hear what you have to say. Okay. Yeah, well, GMT Master, I don't know if we'll have more appreciation or more contempt. It depends. Like what? If a bunch of, Rudy Poo collectors could figure out how to do it for a fraction of what they charge, we may not be as appreciative as they'd like us to be. Now, I do know that a watch company and they hire people and they have these watchmakers and so on and so forth and designers and all of that. Yeah, that's important. But the thing is some of the most interesting watches, they aren't doing too well. I mean, they're high quality, they're everything you want to be. And so, the bean counters working for the company say, well, if for this to be a viable watch, this is what we've got to charge. And often it's more than the typical collector can afford. And so what we have instead we have all of these hijinks going on. And I don't know. It's just a thing. Hey, Dominic, let's see. Overhead is the largest expense for a manufacturer. Yeah. What is the most expensive element of your design? Well, the movement would be. I mean, we're talking about $1,000 for the movement. Now, Dominic, one of the secrets that I learned in publishing and having my own publishing company for a while was that the secret is to be smart rather than blow money on something. I once was interviewed by this marketing company, and I said, "Well, how much can you, how can you tell me exactly what I'm spending on marketing would deliver in terms of a dollar amount?" And they couldn't do it. So, hey, Jeffrey, let me give you an idea. Hang on a sec. I gotta have a cup of Joe. Let me give you an example of marketing. This guy, when I was first starting up this publishing company, this guy who had another company wanted to go in with me on this one. So I said, sure. And I knew the guy. He's a good guy, really. So we had, I don't know, something that was like $3,000 or something for an ad in a magazine. And he wanted it to be in all color and everything like that. So I hired an artist. She did this fabulous cover for us. So I used that cover shot for the advertisement and did all of this other stuff. And so I said, okay, well, let's do it. So this guy said, I decided not to. Well, here he was the guy that said, oh, we got to use this magazine, we got to spend all this money. And said, yeah. So I'm like, what? So anyway, those things happen. And so this is one of the reasons. So we sort of blew our entire marketing budget on one ad. And so what do you do? Well, what I found out was this particular book was on assembly level programming. And that is very low level, which means it's really hard. It's closer to zeros and ones than your higher level languages like Java and C++ and stuff like that. But it's a lot of fun if you're sort of one of those people, and it helps you understand computing. So, so I'd written an assembler for beginners. In other words, you could work it like an assembler, which you enter the code with, and if there was a mistake, it wouldn't let you make a mistake, and a bunch of stuff like that. And it was pretty idiot proof. But most people, to save their lives, they couldn't get started writing assembly level language. And so the book that we had explained how to go about and do it. And we had a disk that was the assembler. Now, here's what we figured out. This is back in the 80s. And back in the 80s, there were a lot of computer clubs. Every computer brand had a club. And they were pretty good sizes too. I mean, back then nobody knew how to program. This is the early 80s. So here I got this book that nobody knows about, and they had these club programs. And say if you're in the club, you pay them a few bucks and give you one of those great big discs, and you could play all of this software that they had. And it was, it's a loving hands at home. It wasn't anything like what we consider software now. So we'd have all this software to play with. So what I knew was that it was pirated like mad. One guy in a club would buy one from the club and then give it to all of his friends, and they just copy it. And that's the way it worked. Well, I thought, well, here's what I'll do is that I'll put this assembler and I'll give it to the club. And on it, I'll say, look, if you don't understand how to use this, here's a book for it. Well, every pirate group in the country and all over the world started copying that thing, but people couldn't figure it out, but they thought learning assembly language was important. And so I was getting orders from all over the world so all of the marketing was done. It didn't cost me anything. The clubs duplicated and pirated all of the information and passed it around. And so that was another way to think about marketing, is understanding how certain kinds of systems work. So that was, if you don't have a lot of money, you have to figure out something else on how to do things that do cost a lot of money. Okay, so that was what I was thinking, and so along those lines, this blowing all of our budget on that one ad, it didn't. It helped some, but not very much, not compared to the pirated stuff. Okay, so. Ophium seemed to have a good model for producing and selling watches, and costs seem relatively low. Blaine, you are absolutely right. Do you hear a high-pitched sound? Or is that me? Hi, Tom. Anyway. I don't know what that could be. Okay, so Ophium is a great model. Okay. Hey, Max Planation, how you doing? Okay, let's see. Fahrenheit. But I want one of the 25 legendary. Yeah, right. That's what everyone. But the thing is that, this is something that anybody could do. Okay, what will we save if we made an order of 25 watches from an exceptional watchmaker like Groeneveld? Well, wonderful Groeneveld cost about $50,000. Okay, I know because I can't afford one. This one I figured out, if we, with the production costs and everything, just the production cost, no marketing, the production cost would be about, I think per the unit price would be about 1850. Okay. And so I figured out, well, a good price would be $3,700. And this is, and if you look at Opium, they come even lower, and they have some talent on their thing. And plus they have the movement they got, this Technotide, I think would be a savings compared to what we would have for the for using a Vaucher. But I agree. Opium, those guys are great. They're honest. They're upfront about everything, and they're. Hang on a second. I'm gonna turn this guy off. There we go. Off you go. Okay. Jeffrey, that's what, well. The thing of it is that first of all, I would never take on that kind of financial responsibility. I don't like on a project using other people's money, so I wouldn't put out for one of those online, whatever they're called, the money raising sites. And and then let's say something went wrong with a watch, something went wrong with a movement or something. I don't want to. I'm not a watchmaker. I couldn't fix the thing. I mean, these are some of the other kinds of things that you have to think about. I have no idea what Opium would do if somebody comes back and they say, "Hey, this movement is junk," Whoops. These are things I think for a long range thing. Now, what I'm really talking about is not so much a watch company, but a watchmaking project. And so we can think of it, if you think of it as a project, and a bunch of guys got together and they said, "Hey, let's do this and let's do that," and so forth, and we'll all go in together and do it. That's another story. But I wouldn't want to. Again, I just there's too much that can go wrong. Look, for God's sakes, there was somebody put up a post, and they had sent in a watch for some kind of servicing, and this is what the sad part is. The guy's wife said, "Look, here we are in this era of quarantine and so forth. Maybe it's not such a good idea, because." Well, so the guy said, we're have a problem. Well, now he's not getting his, his watch back until next Christmas or something. So it was like, you never want to do something that your wife said you shouldn't do, and she turns out to be right. So, these are things that that come into all of this. Anyway, hey, Flippin' Zippo, how about making an agreement with the movement manufacturer for service? Dominic, that's probably the best idea. Okay. And again, they don't do this for nothing. If you say, "Look, if something goes wrong with this thing, can somebody send it to you?" And I say, "Well, in that case, we're going to have to approve the way in which the movement fits with the case and yada, 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 plus shipment and so forth and boxing and you name it." But that's still a good point. Let's see. Okay, what are some other ideas you guys have? Grand Seiko Group on Facebook is trying to get a special model made for the group. Apparently, they can do it. Yeah, the same thing is true, I think, for Nomos Club. You can have a Nomos Club. Bunch of guys get together and they contact Nomos. They say, "Look, we got 10 guys here, and we all belong to the chess club or something. And we'd like a watch with a, I don't know, our logo, which is a bishop or something on the rotor." I don't know. There are ways to do it. But to me, the fun part is going through all of the steps. And so you really know what goes into making a watch. Now, some of the ones that we've done, just sort of showing you how to put a watch together and so forth. That's not too expensive and it's sort of fun, and it's not it doesn't exactly entail a great deal of skill. Uh, some good tools help and some good luck helps, but I don't know. Okay, let's see what other ideas you guys have. Um, Sending the movement back to the original manufacturer will extend service times, and we would void any warranty when the movement is cased up. I don't know, GMT Master. Probably, uh, it's a possibility. I have no idea what kind of warranty or what kind of situations they would have. I think I'm not positive, but I think if there's a Parmigiani service here in the United States, and if you're Europe, you could send them to where are they located in Fleurier, and have them work on it there. If they're in Asia, they probably have something in Singapore or Hong Kong where you can get some service done. But I just don't know. But those are excellent questions because those are things that some people care about. Me, if I make a watch myself, I'm the service department. You could create an Italian company and call the watch the Ponzi. Well, see, that's Blaine. I tell you, you're really making a good point here, and that's these things. A lot of this stuff that people go into this for is exactly that. It's a Ponzi scheme, and that would be something too that somebody said, "Hey, Bill, we can do this. Here, give me the money, and we'll all put it together and do it." I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't make that investment. I because it's unless you have some money to throw away, and I don't. So, it's that kind of thing. I sued Breitling on a service in Shanghai and won. Jeffrey, way to go, Jeff. Suing Breitling. You sure you didn't sue ETA? That's great. They got shanghaied. Way to go. Okay, let's see. Hey, Brian, good morning. Happy Easter to you too. We'll fix them. We'll sue 'em. Bam. Um, I tell you, I don't think I've ever sued anyone. Um, the I talk to them though, and that usually works. You got to have a way of talking though, uh, so that it just comes across as like the right thing to do, and it's less expensive to do what this guy wants rather than to have him on our case for the rest of our lives. It usually works pretty well. Uh, yeah, I think it's a great thing, Jeff. I really like that. For some reason. I'm always mad at Brightly because don't they don't have full disclosure with what's in their under the hood in their watches, and that always makes me mad. The same thing with IWC. I'm picking on IWC. It's not because I don't like IWC watches. I do. Same thing with Breitling. I used to think Breitling was the best watch in the world. Okay, that was a long time ago, and that was simply because. And the same thing with Tag Heuer. Uh, but when I do stuff like that, I don't like it. Like when Mom said, "Wait till Dad gets home." Yeah, that's what I tell him. Wait until I'll go get my big brother. He's, I tell you, there was, oh, my, I got a friend who's a crackhead. And they're crazy. I'll send them over to your place. No. Crazy scares people more than criminal. I think you don't want a crazy person. Okay. All right. So, what are some other ideas about? So, what I was thinking is that once we get finished with this and once we're out in the clear, is see what I could do about just trying to get one made. Now, I know that's not easy because of the 25 only from Vaucher, but I think there's a way that I may be able to do it. And so if I did it, I'd do it myself and then talk to the guy with the enameling, and then talk to the guys at Voutilanen and Kalin. You know, they'll make you a single case if you want. And I thought, well, if I did that, and then I had one that I actually did, I'd have a better idea of that. Plus, I'd have a watch. That's another option. I'm an American lawyer living and working in Shanghai and Hong Kong. I huff and puff on both houses. Go get them, Jeffrey. You know, I love that. I once had this lawyer and I had we had a thing together called Briefcase Software. We were making interrogatories for attorneys. And it was, we had the best looking logo and name you could imagine for an attorney based software company, and it was all of our software got pirated, and so we had to quit. I mean, it was just like we'd make it, and then whoop, we'd see 50,000 copies of it. So, oh, that's it. But you know, it was the attorney that I worked with. I mean, this guy was very good. He had a degree from a law degree from Harvard. This is out in San Diego. Very sharp guy, and you know, we were just having fun, really. We thought maybe it'd work, and it didn't. But you know, that happened. But this, on something like this, you're talking about right around a $50,000 drop initially, and fat chance of getting it all back. So, okay, what's on yours today? Oh, I got my Christian Vanderklaw series. Let me see if you can see this. This is really a very pretty watch, but most of the pretty part is they have sort of like a sunburst deloche coming out, the very subtle one. You know, the other thing about this watch, I don't usually, it has I don't know if you can see that or not. See the rotor? It's a combination of a sun, and each of the arms in a rotor looks like a claw. And so you have Christian Vanderklaw, and you have this sun, because all of his stuff is astronomical. I don't know if you can see it or not. Yeah, wish you could have better. Right at the top there, you can see it's little gold sun, and then on the back, you have the claw, the sort of the claw rotor on it. This is a fun. This watch is this is another watch I like. It's very plain, and then it only has the numbers in the top half of the watch, and so you have from 9 to 3 in Roman numerals, and then nothing down here at the bottom. And so you have to so setting it between 4 and 8 o'clock is, you have to figure out how to do it. It's not that hard, really. What you do is you like set it at 3, and then every rotation you just add 1 to it. But it's a great fun watch to have, and I enjoy it a lot. And I'm really not into the first moon phase I had. I realized it's not much fun. You watch it, nothing happens. But this one, I decided I'm not going to worry about the moon phase right now. It's like a rising moon, where in fact I think we're on a waning full moon or something like that right now. But I just quit worrying about trying to set it all the time and just enjoy it. Okay. Alrighty, righty. Hi, and that's something. Okay, any other ideas or thoughts about this? Thanks, GMT Master. Any other thoughts? How are we doing on time? Whoop. It's exactly 8:30, and so let me wish everyone a happy Easter, and or happy Passover, or happy any other kind of celebration, or happy Pagan's Day. which is what the Easter Bunny represents. And anyway, let's see. The moon phase is important in Japanese culture. So my watch with moon phase complication is quite useful. Oh, okay, Blaine. Good to know. Money is a ticklish issue when doing a chocolate bar fundraising. Many parents don't want to pay. Yeah, I know. Good God. Uh, Girl Scout cookies, the parents of the Girl Scouts and stuff. Yeah. The thing is, I'd like to get a chocolate bunny, but I can't. I don't want to go to the store. Anyway, you guys. Hey, Frantisek, how you doing, man? Um, that watch is a Kristen Vanderklas Series 74. Ta-da! And it has a Soprod A10, and the Soprod A10 is really an implementation of the Seiko 4L, which was Seiko's one of Seiko's early attempts to get into high horology movements. And movement is great. So anyhow, guys, see you later. Uh, be back at 4 o'clock Eastern time. That would be what, 6? I don't know what 4 o'clock is. Anyways, 4 o'clock Eastern time. Take care. Bye bye.